Hello, and thank you for joining us again for one of our BNI San Diego podcasts. I'm really excited. I get to have the pleasure of having Jennifer Dreyfus with us today. Jennifer is a Cultivate advisor, and I'm going to have her share a little bit about that. But Jennifer has experienced the business roller coaster ride, and haven't we all? Anybody in business is definitely that. She's helped extinguish countless fires and come up strong through all of it, really helping her customers, her clients gain with all the things that they have gone through, gaining expertise through decisive career changes and the launching and exiting of a successful business. That's why you are a business advisor with Cultivate Advisor. So, Jennifer, thank you for joining us. I'm
Thank you so
excited
much
you're
for
with us
having
today.
me today, Ed.
So Jennifer, give me a sentence or two on maybe the stuff that I don't know about you, some of that juicy stuff.
Are we supposed to talk about that in business? Uh,
Hey, you know that's peeking behind the curtains, right? As
the
successful
odds.
business owners, sometimes we see all the polish, the suit, the how everything good. But you know what? Sometimes it's nice to know when people fall on their face because you know what? I can relate to that person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I jumped ship and changed my career 4 times now. And each one was because something wasn't the way that I was like comfortable in things that were happening and whatever. And so instead of like doing something similar a different way, I just decided to do something different altogether each time around. So um struggles happen because of that, and but you also have learning. So learning and failure is I guess kind of something that's been helping me continue to move forward.
Well, and I know that that's got to help you majorly with your clients because you've been there, done that.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about Cultivate Advisors is that all of us have been there, done that. All 34 of the advisors within the group have been prior business owners that have successfully exited. And that's actually something that's important to us at
Hmm.
our core and at our culture, is making sure that we're not just talking the talk. We have walked the walk in the past too.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you with us. Jennifer is in one of our local BNI San Diego chapters called BNI All Stars. She's, matter of fact,
Nice.
she's the current president of that chapter. Go figure with all of it, everything that we just said. And I'm really excited about our topic today. Our topic is when giving leads to gains. When giving leads to gains. You know, our A number one core value in BNI is givers gain. I love this topic. Let's get right on into it.
I do too, because it should be the expectation when we join BNI, right? Is to gain after we've given.
Ooh, I like how you put that, right? It's first and foremost, it should be an expectation. And
Yes.
I loved how you said you very strategically started out with gaining,
Yes.
but it's after it that comes after the giving.
Yes. Yes. That is true. And when that simple principle, when you actually start giving and building that trust and learning about your members, you will gain from it as well. And when that happens, unfortunately, some members grapple with that as they navigate their journey with
Mm.
their entrepreneurialism, and within the network.
Wait, now let's touch on that. What do you mean by grapple with it? Because that's an interesting, I'd love to delve into that a little bit.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, and I have witnessed it in my short time here within BNI, right? When you really truly have that mindset of generosity and genuine assistance when you come in, um, that remarkable thing happens. You not only are helping others succeed, but then you pave the way for your own success, and you then start reaping the rewards, and you find yourself faced with new challenges if you didn't plan it appropriately, right? You're successful, and suddenly you're busy, and your client list is overflowing, and your commercials. Then what I start hearing is, hey, let's pause these referrals for now because I'm really busy. And it's like, oh no.
Or even one that almost breaks my heart when I hear people because we've had this happen on not regular basis, but somewhat regular basis is, hey guys, I need to leave. I need to step out of the chapter. I've gotten so much business. I don't have time to come to the weekly meeting.
Yes, I have heard that several times, actually. I know, it blew my mind. That's part of the reason why I think this is important we're talking about it today.
Yeah, because I mean, and it's interesting. It's you're leaving the thing
Yeah.
that helped you become successful.
Yes. You are essentially turning off the water spigot,
Ooh, that's a good visual right there.
right? And so, I mean, the thing that's providing you with water, which keeps you alive, you are literally turning it off.
And it's funny because inevitably, not all the time, inevitably 6 months, 9 months, 2 years later, we get some of these individuals back because
Yes.
they understood where their success came from. But after a while, because they're not doing the things that got them successful in the first place, as you said, turn off the spigot, turn off the water spout,
Yes.
that business eventually dries up.
It does. And so, in that's what creates that cycle, right?
Mm,
That up and down cycle that entrepreneurs go through in their journey all of the time. It doesn't only happen within BNI, but I have seen it in the last 2 years in like a magnifying glass within BNI and overall business health. But it's normal for like the sales journey in general, it goes up and down for the same reasons, right? And
mm.
so, like, what's the solution then for business owners? And really, it's about perspective and planning.
So in other words, you're let's face it, as much as we would love business to continually go up and up and up, there are going to be, as you said, cycles or downturns in the market where we've got a whole industry right now, the whole insurance industry, at least in the state of California, and if you live in Texas,
And
um, are kind of going through some turmoil. If you're an insurance provider, you're going through some turmoil that's unexpected.
yes,
And
yes,
let's face it, the unexpected is going to happen to probably at one point or another every industry.
yes, 100%. And even if you think it won't, I mean,
Oh,
COVID,
whoa.
like the market boom of 2008, 7, 8, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna it's gonna happen at some point in time. And the question is like, are do you have you planned? So when you join BNI and you're doing all this giving and then you see these gains and you're now increase your business and you're successful, instead of turning off that water fountain spigot, reassess, recalibrate, reignite, like find another forward momentum. Like maybe it's time for you to like evaluate your business model,
Mm,
your structures, the processes that you have in place. The biggest question I always ask my clients is like, I always pat them on the back, you got here. So, but what got you here isn't going to get you to the next step,
yes.
right? So, are there areas that you can streamline or automate or delegate to accommodate this growth that you've experienced without feeling overwhelmed? And basically, it's like grabbing a new bucket, putting it under the spigot, and continue to go.
So that there's a word that I'm thinking of, scaling, right? You want to
Yes.
learn how to scale your business and prepare for success.
Yes.
Because if you're not prepared for success, that leads you down that path that we talked about. Hey, I've got so much business, I don't know how to handle it. So I need to step away from my chapter so that I can, that 90-minute meeting, I need to cram, clients into that 90 minutes.
Right. Right. But if you have so something that when I do my annual reviews with clients, I always ask them, okay, these are your goals for the next 12 months or 3 years. What happens when we get there?
Hmm.
What is our capacity right now? And what will it need to be then? Can we do that with the people we have on staff now or
Ooh.
with the systems we have in place now? And so that's what I mean when I say reassess, recalibrate, right? Like, will this work what we're doing right now when we achieve whatever it is we're wanting to achieve?
Well,
And many times it won't.
and looking at our business as, we let's face it, as entrepreneurs, we know that every year we're supposed to set goals for that year.
Yes.
And sometimes those goals are really, really lofty and we don't get to them.
Hmm.
But sometimes we plow right through them. And if we're not constantly looking and reassessing, as you said,
Hmm.
we could easily get to that goal and surpass it without having a game plan to prepare ourselves for that success.
Correct. Yes. And that's when you find these people who say, I got to stop, or I don't want referrals.
Oh my
Be-
gosh.
Right.
That scares me just thinking, I don't have time. I mean, in some ways it sounds good, but if you really think about it, it's not good.
No, no. But the best thing about that, so yes, it's not good when you think about it, but the best thing about those statements is those people are experiencing what you're supposed to experience when you join BNI.
Ah,
And they just need someone or they just need to look at it and figure out what they need to change in what they're doing so that they can continue to experience what you're supposed to here in BNI.
so that's where a coach, an advisor comes into play to give somebody, because you need fresh eyes sometimes, and you need different eyes to give you different perspective.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like you don't have to run to me or another coach. Actually, that's when you can lean in to the community and to the members and to the network. And that's the really cool thing about BNI. In my chapter, there's 33 of us, and you can leverage them. Ask them, hey, I'm in this, I'm struggling with this. Have you experienced that? That's what one-to-ones are for.
Well, and as you just said, with how many, 33, 34 now, right now?
Yes, yes, yes.
You get 33, 34 different, and every one of those individuals are at a different place in their business and have different sizes of business. And so to your point, leaning into those individuals and gaining perspective from those that are at your level and or higher than, or where you strive to be.
Absolutely. And if you go internally into your power group, those are
Ooh.
other people that are in a similar, like they're dealing with similar clients as you. That's why they're power group. And so they may actually be able to assist you, right? Because, they may be able to take some of what you're doing into their business, and then you can support each other and it elevates the entire group that you have.
So what do we do when we're successful, right? I mean,
That's the
that's
question.
that's another way to put our conversation. And I love that. Lean into your people. Don't
Mhm.
don't leave the room. Lean
Mm.
into the room.
Yes, yes. When you find yourself at that crossroad within your BNI journey, because you should get there, it's not about abandoning that ship, right? When the waters are choppy, chart a new course, lean in, celebrate your newfound land, your newfound revenue, success, whatever you want to call it, gold. And without a doubt, ask your fellow members. We all want to help each other. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits, right? Is you're building, cultivating relationships with people that are, in a lack of a better term, all in the same boat, trying to grow their business,
Yeah.
trying to develop themselves as business owners. Who better to learn from than people that are just ahead of you in the race?
Yeah. Mentorship is key. As a matter of fact, in this morning's meeting that we had, I posted like, what is the one thing that has been most beneficial, you know, in your current business or career? And a lot of the rooms, when I sent them into the rooms, said mentorship, right?
Huge.
Learning from what other people have done. And it is huge. And that's a time to absolutely lean in.
Well, and mentors come in all shapes and forms, right? We
Yes.
have those individuals that we look up to that are that where, they are where we want to be. But a mentor can be someone who you've never met before, whether it's for me, one of those is like a John Maxwell, right? Those
Uh-huh.
individuals that we listen to or read their books, or another one is a fellow BNI member who I've watched go through stuff,
Right.
so that you can get a mentor, and they come in all shapes and sizes.
They do. Some things I've even learned from my 14-year-old son.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm constantly learning from my daughters.
Yes,
Sometimes
absolutely.
these aha, like slap you in the head kind of moments, right?
Yes. It's like, "Oh my goodness, that's so simple. Here I'm making it so difficult."
Because wait, no, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but isn't it true that as adults we tend to make things more difficult?
Yes, which is why we get overwhelmed when we're successful.
Well, and to that point, I think even as business owners, we can overcomplicate ourselves, right? By not having the right mindset, by not
Yes.
having a mindset of when you show up to give.
Right. Yeah.
And things happen. Again, givers gain. That's,
Yep.
our a number one core value. It's our
Yep.
topic today. It's that element of if we show up and if we're willing to give, we will gain. And then the second part of that is, how do we handle the gain?
Right. Because when you gain, you grow. And so how do you keep moving forward with purpose and positivity when that happens?
And that just reminded me of something, going back to the kid part.
Mhm.
In growth comes pain. I
Yes.
remember as a kid, as a little kid, I remember literally sobbing, and my dad had to come and pick me up because I had what do they call that? Growing pains in your legs and that,
Yes. Yes.
right? It's actual pain, but you're growing. You're actually, things are happening. And for business owners, for all of us, sometimes as we grow, we don't know how to handle the growth.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to be able to have those individuals around you, those mentors, those individuals who've been there, or the coaches, advisors, whatever it is incredibly important. Don't walk away from all that.
No.
Again, embrace it, lean into it. It's so powerful, but don't walk away from it.
No. Celebrate it.
Yeah, I love this conversation.
Yes. Me too.
So as a cultivate advisor, as an advisor, when you're working with clients and
Yes.
customers in this realm, what do you what observations are you giving them? What are some of the things? Because I would imagine, because let's face it, in some ways business owners are all very similar. We have a lot of the same issues, right? Whether it's team, or becoming the bottleneck in your own business, or whatever it is. What are some of those things that you constantly see when you're working with business individual or business owners?
Uh, in regards to what happens when they're successful?
Yeah. Or even getting them to prepare for success. Because I think that's another thing that oftentimes doesn't happen, is we're as a we end up creating for ourselves a job and not a business.
Yes.
And a
That is
business
so
owner
common.
is needs to prepare for success.
Yeah. So I think that what I find in business owners in general is many of them make the statement that they don't have enough time.
Mm.
And so when I we do that, we break down, okay, then what is taking up your time? Let's break down every little thing from email to exercise to lunch to sales meetings, whatever it is, everything that you do in a day. Let's look at that. And then let's look at that for your whole team as well. And if it's just you as a solopreneur, then identify what is worth it for you as a business owner to continue to do, right? Because if you break down the hourly amount, right, of some of those tasks and the hourly amount of you as a business owner, do you want to pay $400 an hour to check email?
That's a
Or do
really
you,
good point.
Right. Because that's essentially what's happening, right? When you could maybe get a virtual assistant to help you manage your email. I mean, or maybe there's a receptionist to answer the phone. I mean, there's lots, every business is different. And I'm not saying that that's the answer, but that's what we do. We evaluate, what are we doing? What do we absolutely have to continue to do because it requires your skill as an owner?
Mm.
And what are other things that we can work on getting rid of? Maybe not today, but there's a plan. So let's plan for it. And so, like, I have an owner who wanted to open a new store, but she was working every day in her existing store. And so we had to first remove her from that existing store. And so that way she could then go and open the other store. And in that process, right, we had to figure out who could do what she needed to do and train this person, an individual. So it's taken 6 months, right? To be able to remove her from the store for the amount of time that she needs to then go to the new store as we're building it. And she does open her new store on the 24th of May. So
Very exciting.
yeah. So it's lots of things like that. It's evaluation, it's asking questions, and it's really then creating the plan. So as I mentioned, right, purpose, process and perspective, planning, reassessing, and deciding what you want it to be, and then just building that.
Well, and one of the things that we are working with, again, for the listeners, for those that are listening that are familiar with BNI, we have these individuals called visitor hosts that meet with potential members when they not only when they come into the chapter, but when at the end of the meeting. And some of the dialogue that we're helping our visitor host have with solopreneurs or people coming in, the question is, are you number one, are you prepared for success? Because if you come into BNI and we plan on helping you be successful, are you prepared for that success so that when success comes, you know how to, whether it's scaling your business or if you're a solopreneur, can you hire another person? If you're the landscaper or if you're the handyman and you
Yes.
become successful, can you duplicate yourself? And as you were talking about your client, getting things off your plate so that then you can build and scale and grow your business. Are you
Yes.
prepared for success?
Correct. Yes, that is exactly the question. As we're circling back around, right? When you give, you gain, and when you gain, you grow. So if you're not prepared for that growth,
Hmm.
that's something that you should think about.
Yeah, that's a that's a drop the mic right there. And I know that we're coming, close to our closing time and our time together. And Jennifer, it's always a pleasure.
Love
Anytime I
it.
get to
Thank you.
interact with you, it's so much fun. And I'm looking forward to
Good.
having you, back again and again. But on this topic of um when giving leads to gain, for our last couple of minutes together, if you could share something, kind of a takeaway that our individuals will take away, whether they're in BNI or outside of BNI,
Mhm.
when something becomes successful,
Yes.
what's some good words of wisdom to leave with people right now?
Yeah. So if you haven't planned for that success and it is happening to you, pat yourself on the back. Have a glass of wine or a glass of water, whatever is your favorite, and sit in it and enjoy it. And then say, okay, now what?
Mm.
And say, what is effective and efficient within my organization right now? And what is it that I need to adjust, tweak, or change in order to continue this without having to put on the brakes? That's what I call slowing down to speed up.
Ooh.
So you take that moment, you slow that down. You don't stop the leads from coming in, but you yourself take time and space to think and evaluate and go, what do I need to do so that I can keep going and scaling and keep being successful?
Ooh, so really, so enjoy the success, take the moment,
Yes.
celebrate it, enjoy it, like you said, pop champagne, whatever it is, enjoy that moment,
Yes.
and then get back to work and figure out the next step. And what's the next goal? What's the next element that we
Yes.
want to work on?
Yes. Because taking that time to enjoy it changes your mindset, which you
Mm.
mentioned earlier. and it allows you to think positively about what you need to do tomorrow.
Oh, those are awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome words. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. I look forward to having you back with us. If you would like more information about Jennifer, and if you're looking for someone that can help you in this area, I would encourage you to take the time to reach out to Jennifer. Her information are in our show notes down below. So make sure you reach out. Again, Jennifer, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ed. I can't wait to be back.
And for our listeners, we look forward to seeing you next week with yet another amazing guest speaker. We always enjoy having individuals on like Jennifer that just really impact our lives and give us those words that help us push forward and continue the success that we love so much. So we look forward to seeing you back with us next week. Thank you again and have a great rest of your week.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.